Today, we're talking about all of the songs on the Midnight's album that definitely are, or maybe, about Matty Healy. Because after the release of the Tortured Poets department, we definitely need to reanalyze some of these. Midnight's is by far the most unspecific album Taylor has ever released, and that is definitely for a reason. Before we get into this, let me just say that I'm going off of the fact that Matty and Taylor definitely did have something going on back in 2014, and there's a lot of sources to prove that. Now, let's dive right into it, and let's start off with Snow on the Beach. First off, all of the space references on the song directly parallel a very specific song from the Tortured Poets department, but we'll get into that a bit later. Based on all of the other space references in the song, we can assume that Taylor is essentially saying that she saw flashing lights in the sky, or in other words, a UFO. Here, she's likening the person that she's singing the song about to the UFO that she saw in the sky. This is very reminiscent of her relationship with Matty before 2023. They just kept hearing about and seeing each other randomly throughout the years. Now, if we briefly divert our attention to a song on the Tortured Poets department, the whole premise of Down Bad is an alien essentially coming down from the sky, showing Taylor a whole new world, and then leaving. Not only does this reflect what happened with her and Matty in 2023, but this feels like a direct sequel to Snow on the Beach. And to further corroborate the UFO theory, she literally says, "Your eyes are flying saucers from another planet" on Snow on the Beach. But let's assume this isn't enough of a hint and analyze the lyrics. Throughout the song, she keeps repeating, "It's like snow at the beach, weird but fucking beautiful." This very much gives the vibes of what she would have been feeling towards Matty during the recording of the Midnight's album. She's daydreaming about an old fling, which is weird, but in a sense, it's also kind of romantic. How do we know that she's daydreaming about this person? Well, the entire lyrics of the song. Flying in a dream, it's fine to fake it till you make it till you do, till it's true. I don't even dare to wish it. Can this be a real thing, can it? She's faking this relationship until she makes it, or pretending that it's happening until it actually happens. She also doesn't even dare to wish it, probably because it's forbidden and she might be in another relationship. Finally, there's also a kind of weird lyric in this which says, "And the flight was awful, thanks for asking." This is a very random thing to put in a song, but I feel like this may have been left as a clue for Matty of an interaction that they had, like over text, while she was still dating Joe. Moving on to Question. Now, I'm going to start off this discussion by simply playing you a clip of Taylor introducing Question in May of 2023, which was 2 weeks after it was announced that she and Matty were dating, and he also flew like 20 hours to see a bunch of her shows.
I don't know. It's not just the tour, it's like, I don't know, I just sort of feel like my life finally feels like it makes sense. And so I thought I'd play this song. Which brings me really a lot of happy memories. Good girl, sad boy.
Another bit of lore here is that this song was also added to the 1975's pre-show playlist in the beginning of 2023, which is an interesting thing to note. Finally, we're gonna go on just a little bit of a reach here, but it's okay. In the song About You by the 1975, which Matty has confirmed on stage is about Taylor, just as she has done with Cardigan. He asks continually, "Do you think I have forgotten about you?" And she starts off Question by saying, "I remember," which I think is just an interesting coincidence. But let's dive into the lyrics.
We had one thing going on, I swear that it was something, 'cause I don't remember who I was before you painted all my nights a color I've searched for since.
This implies that the song is about an old flame that she had something going on with, but then it ended, and now she keeps searching for what they had. Furthermore, the theme of the song is just wanting to ask this old flame a question, and the question is, were you/are you still interested?
Does it feel like everything's just like second best after that? Be your distraction. It's just a question.
The The entire course of the song just seems like a bunch of very specific situations that happened with exactly one person, but they're so specific that only that one person would know. This is a very common theme on Midnights. But to analyze the verses of the song, we're gonna have to get kind of deep into the 2014 Matty and Taylor lore. To briefly summarize, Taylor was going out to a bunch of 1975 shows, they were wearing each other's t-shirts, and they were also rumored to hang out afterwards a lot after these shows. Of course, the press caught onto this and immediately published a bunch of articles about them dating. Then Matty essentially got scared that they got his name wrong and posted this tweet, and then the day after this, he was rumored to be just absolutely losing it, crying on stage. After this, their contact with each other kind of stopped, and the next time that they saw each other was a few months later at the Brit Awards after party, where Taylor also happened to meet Calvin Harris, and Taylor and Calvin started dating. Throughout the years, Matty kept getting asked about Taylor, but the narrative shifted from they didn't date to they kind of had a thing, but they couldn't date because Matty was scared of the whole new level of stardom that surrounded her. All the press attention, all the bodyguards. At one point, he said dating her would be emasculating, and it was taken out of context, and it was a whole big thing that he had to apologize for. Now, if we go back to the lyrics of Question, the line
Politics and gender roles, and you're not sure, I don't know.
begins to make a whole lot more sense. Additionally, the lines right before this say,
On your mind, take it and cry, saw that night.
could this be talking about the Brit Awards after party, where Matty literally had to watch Taylor go out with some dickhead guy? These lines also start to make a lot more sense and are also very telling. She's referring to them as children, essentially, that were naive and made the wrong choices. This is the theme that's also present in some songs on the Tortured Poets department. Moving on to Maroon.
When morning came, we clean and swap your final ships, we lost track of time again.
Does Joe seem like the type to have incense on his vinyl shelf? Do any of these people really seem like the type? I don't think so. I think that's more of a Matty thing, but once again, that's just me. This song is also about an old flame.
On the rest that grew between telephones, how the hell did we lose sight of us again?
And she also says,
Laughing with your feet in your lap, like you were my closest friend.
this line mirrors a lot of the songs on the Tortured Poets department that portray her and Matty as sort of having this twin best friend connection where they both write songs and are very similar as people. Now, where on the Tortured Poets department did we get a Maroon reference? That's right, in Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
That make you remember me, fade from the scarlet maroon.
If it weren't for this reference, I wouldn't be sure that the song is about Matty, but if we look at the lyrics of this as well, this is just a dead giveaway. The entire song is essentially just a clone of Question.
As the decade play us for fools, you saw my bones out for somebody new. You looked like he would have bullied you in school, and you just watched it happen. Passage in time, back to the moment I crashed into you, like so many wrecks do, to prepare by my youth, to know what to do.
The song has the same exact themes of meeting someone when she was younger, when she was naive, and things not working out. She even says decade, and she and Matty met in 2014, and she released this album in 2024. She also keeps saying,
If you wanna take my world apart, just say you always wonder.
this is the same premise as in Question, where she keeps asking this person if they're still interested. Moving on to Glitch. This song doesn't reek of Matty quite as much as the other ones, but I want to bring your attention to a very specific line.
It's been 2,190 days of our love blackout.
How long is 2,190 days? It is exactly 6 years. Now, a lot of people seem to think that this lyric references Taylor and Joe because they dated for 6 years. People seem to forget that Midnights was released back in October of 2022, and Taylor and Joe started dating in September of 2016. This means that out of the 2 years that she was writing Midnights, the song would have had to be written like a month before its official release date. If you look at Matty and Taylor's timeline, they had their fling around the end of 2014, plus 6 years, that's the end of 2020, when Evermore was released, which is, I think, much more realistic since the recording process and all the promo takes months to plan. But stepping away from the math a little bit, she says it's been this many days of their love blackout. Now, this could be interpreted in multiple different ways, but mainly just their love failing. A blackout is a failure of something. And this makes sense with Matty and Taylor's relationship because they weren't dating. Their love wasn't being actualized in this period of 6 years. But with Joe and Taylor, it seems like she had this honeymoon phase when she first started dating him, and then over the years, their love just sort of went downhill. It would be brutal and also inaccurate to describe these 6 years as a total blackout of love. Additionally, it looks like the song is about an old flame as well.
I was supposed to sweat you out.
This doesn't give the vibes of her and Joe's relationship. I don't think she was trying to sweat him out, whereas with an old flame, you definitely would want to get rid of those old feelings. Furthermore, she says,
We were supposed to be just friends. Don't live on my part of town, but maybe I'll see you at some weekend.
maybe this means London because she moved to London to be with Joe, and coincidentally, Matty is also from the UK and lived in London for a time, so that could be referencing that. This also very much mirrors the theme of Snow on the Beach, where she says she's kind of seeing this person out and about once in a while, and here she says, maybe I'll see you out some weekend. Moving on to Hits Different. This song, once again, is just about an old flame. She says,
You once believed in me, and I felt you, and I held you for a while. I've been waiting for a bus, and then sure, you just start walking on.
we also have Taylor fantasizing a bunch in this.
I can still melt your world, argumentative, hypothetical dream girl.
She also ends up asking,
Just let you leave in the door. Is it okay? Is it you? Or have they come to take me away?
which I think very much mirrors her emotional state at the start of the Tortured Poets department, and I think is very reminiscent of just like going insane when you're daydreaming about someone while in a relationship with someone else. She also mentions Ken's, which I just think is a very fun parallel to My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys on Tortured Poets department. I'll admit the song doesn't really have any very Matty specific lyrics except maybe like Dreams of Your Hair. I don't really imagine her getting drunk in a bar over Matty while she was with Joe.
I wash my hands of us.
So this must have happened earlier in time, and she did say that Midnights was
13 stories of 13 sleepless nights throughout my life.
but there is enough non-specificity for this to be about someone else. Moving on to Paris, we have one lyric that really sums up the message of the song really well. The entire song is about a romance that Taylor has kept private and hid from the public and the media, and at the same time, she used this romance as an escape. Let the Only Flashing Lights Be the Tower at Midnight references the paparazzi, and she also says that they're levitating above all the messes they made, which means essentially that they're not paying attention to what's going on. While the song may be about another fling that Taylor sort of hid from the public, I'm sure there's been some of those that we don't know about, I think this is about Matty. In songs that are very clearly about him on Tortured Poets Department and even on this album, she keeps highlighting kind of their reputations and the media, so it makes sense for her to write the song about them. Matty is also like one of the few people that she keeps writing these fantasizing songs about, both on Midnight and Tortured Poets Department, so I really think he was the only one that she was obsessed enough with to write this. Moving on to our last case study, Bejeweled. Now, this song is interesting. It's about being in a relationship that you're not satisfied with and wanting to go out. Who was she kept in lockdown with? It was Joe. This whole song is just very reminiscent of what she was saying about her relationship with Joe in the songs on the Tortured Poets Department. She made Joe her whole world when she moved to London for him. Now, where am I going with this? The song's about Joe. What are you talking about? Well, when she says, I think it would be really funny if this was referring to the 1975. That's all I wanted to say about the song. Thanks for watching. That's all I have for you today, and let me know if you want me to do Folklore and Evermore as well, or release a video that I have that literally goes through every single song about Matty on every single one of her albums. Please subscribe if you made it this far, and also follow my Twitter, because I post a lot of fun little lyric things on there.